Hey guys, Tristan here, and it looks like David Jaffe has been turned into old man game developer because according to him, every AAA title that has been released since he helped create the Twisted Metal and God of War franchises are all the same and will continue to be the same for the next 4 years. David Jaffe, also known as the game director for the first God of War and creative director on the second God of War, he is also known for his work on several of the Twisted Metal games in the franchise. And he's always been quite the outspoken game developer, for better or for worse. This time he focused on heavily criticizing the so-called AAA games for repetitiveness of the moment-to-moment gameplay in each sequel. He used Naughty Dog's Uncharted franchise as an example, stating that while Uncharted 4: A Thief's End has much better graphics and overall production value, it still plays essentially the same as Uncharted 1: Drake's Fortune. Most of these are from his tweets going on to say how AAA games are dying and they haven't changed since 2001. You can see some of his tweets right here. Like, he links a video saying current AAA video games are dying, you just don't know it yet, and he links a YouTube video. A person responded to him saying it'll be one thing if you held Uncharted up to God of War or Spider-Man or some other different AAA game, but comparing the same series to itself seems like it doesn't really prove your point that all AAA games are the same. All it proves is that all games in a series are similar. And David responds, the point of doing this is to say what I did in 2001 with Uncharted 1 plays the same within most people's minds as what I did in Uncharted 4. At a pure mechanics level, the game isn't offering anything meaningfully new, and for me that is what I want in my games. And then another person replied that I understand what you're coming from, but I think you mean annual AAA game franchises. Uncharted is a bad example, and your video would have worked better with Assassin's Creed or something else. And David said no, I mean all those sorts of games. Uncharted suffers from it as well. Same gameplay, better production. If that works for you, I respect it. Truthfully, I do. For me, once I play a game, I need the next game I play to offer something meaningfully fresh or I'm out. I mean, I can kind of understand what he means by they need to reinvent themselves by having retooled the gameplay mechanics or get stale after time and time again, depending on how annual the sequels are, being a year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. But what people assume that he's trying to say is if the development team can't keep my interest with new ways to play, then it's bad. That's where I disagree with them for picking the Uncharted series as his example, because the gameplay mechanics for Uncharted 1 to Uncharted 4 are vastly different, and even from Uncharted 1 to 2 and 3 they're all completely different for the most part. I mean, I can remember going and playing the Nathan Drake collection and going back and playing Uncharted 1. The gameplay mechanics kind of were jank for the most part. It was hard to aim and to throw and even to do combos. Then compare that to 2 and 3 where it's more fluid and you could, come up with combos on the fly. You can shoot relatively better and aim better too, so you don't have a hard time trying to adjust for the recoil. Or let's look at a franchise like Mario with their 3D entries. The gameplay mechanics are vastly different from Super Mario 64 to all the way up to Mario Odyssey. Sure, there's the base gameplay mechanics, but they also added a lot of stuff to them for each iteration. Some of the stuff that you can't do in Super Mario 64 you can do in Odyssey or the Galaxy games, and vice versa for either of the other ones. What most people think, and I think here, is that David here is kind of salty because of his last 2 failures with Lawbreakers, and that Something Heights, that battle royale game that was basically the same as PUBG or Fortnite, except that you had to scrounge for money to get the weapons instead of finding weapons on the floor. That's why I don't really understand it when he said everything's going to be the same in about 4 years. You need to have that familiarity with your veterans or your core audience that fell in love with the first installment in the first place. You need to advance it and tweak it enough to invite newcomers, but also have that homely feeling for the people that grew up to love your first installment in the first place. You do not want to alienate them, along with the people that are new to this series that are hopping on, on 2 or 3. Then what do you have left? Nothing, and you just wasted money for basically a paperweight. So is he right saying that all AAA video games are becoming the same gameplay wise? Or is this the case of old man screaming at the sky saying that back in his day it was green instead of blue? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. Watch some of the other videos on the channel or some that are showing up on screen right now. Please leave a like and subscribe to the Comic Book Cast. It helps us out a lot. And I got to go because I have other things to do.